All right, howdy. This is day 2 of the tree series. We are back, and I'm gonna take a moment to pause and breathe and think about what needs to be said. So, I recently changed my jogging route, and I'm filming these videos after I go on jogs, so that's fresh on my mind. And my new route incorporates a retirement home and assisted living home rather, and right next to that assisted living home there's a golf course, and there's this little unincorporated tree bush area right at the edge of the two, and I run right past it, and I'll often see golf balls in that area. And as a kid, my family would sometimes go on a walk down this hill towards that area, and we'd see golf balls, and it was always exciting to pick up the golf balls on the trail and collect them. And in fact, I found one today. I kind of went out of my way and found one. And they're also different. You know, this one is from Costco. It just says Kirkland Signature, and it says Performance Plus on it. There's a little blue stain. It has the letter R on it, apparently. Thank you, Ryan, or whoever's ball this was. And yeah, it's just a fun little, you know, connection to childhood and fun and adventure and curiosity. Fun little ritual, I guess. And what that makes me think of as an adult is just finding meaning in things, not because they're inherently meaningful, right? Like not because the word Kirkland or finding a golf ball or the letter R or Performance Plus has any inherent meaning to it, but because it's fun to explore the subconscious mind through different synchronicities and different symbolic items that we encounter in life. And lately I've been doing dream journaling and learning more about that practice through a book I've been reading or listening to. And yeah, just kind of wanting to learn more mechanisms to explore the subconscious mind. And so yeah, in collecting these golf balls, I've been paying attention to, you know, just what words are written on them and seeing if any of the words or symbols or images on the golf balls have any, you know, personal connection to my life or things that are on my mind. And sometimes they do, sometimes they have no connection. And I also, interestingly, have been getting suggestions in my YouTube and Instagram feed about tarot cards, which historically in my past, growing up Christian, tarot and forms of divination were explicitly, you know, banned and evil and considered witchcraft. And I certainly think that, you know, even witches or people who practice witchcraft openly would consider it a form of divination or witchcraft. So I don't think there's any dispute there. But I'm also finding that tarot can also be used as a non-divinatory practice, as kind of a window into the subconscious mind, in the same way that, you know, symbols in our environment don't have an inherent meaning attached to them. A card that you look at and, you know, look at the image on and then draw meaning out of doesn't inherently have a prescribed meaning to it. And there's a name for this, and I can link the video below that explains this a little bit better than I just did. But I guess the reason why, and by the way, for those of you who don't know what tarot is, it's a deck of cards that has been created by people who have studied ancient symbols and symbolism. Carl Jung was interested in them because he recognized that certain images and symbols kept continually popping up in his clients and his own subconscious mind, and that they spoke to universal motifs. And so he found a lot of value in just studying them apart from tarot. And he was not an expert in tarot. That was more of an occultist practice and something that was developed by practicing occultists who had a more broad spiritual understanding of different spiritual traditions and tried to combine them or find a collective meaning through them, or find other ritualistic practices, including tarot, through their work. So Jung was not like a proponent of tarot necessarily, although he was interested in it. And his understanding of divination was not so much connecting with external gods, like a polytheism, but rather he saw gods and used the same language of gods as something that exists within your mind and in your subconscious mind. And oftentimes these are the parts of our subconscious mind that we have not yet integrated and not yet come to fully recognize as a part of us. And for example, I dated a girl one time who got me back into tree climbing. And on a number of our dates, we would climb trees. And it was always because she would see a tree, and in this super adorable, childlike way, I was very enamored by this girl. She would just take off towards a tree and be like, "We're climbing that." I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Because I loved tree climbing growing up. And I hadn't been so into it as an adult, especially after what I shared in the last video, breaking my wrist. And so, yeah, it was super fun to start climbing trees with her on dates, and it reminded me of childhood. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is like, it was a unintentionally very powerful way of bonding for me. And that was actually the first time I dated someone where I was like, I felt like I was pedestalizing that person in the relationship. But beyond that, the point I'm making is that I noticed that when she was climbing trees, she often wanted to do risky things in the trees. Don't get too crazy there about what that might mean, but she wanted to like jump around to different branches or like go to the very, very tops of trees that were really challenging and risky to get to. And she would, ask me sometimes, do you think I could make it up there? And my answer would be like, you probably could, but it would be very dangerous to. And so as that pattern continued to, I noticed that pattern in her. I noticed that there was this risk-taking behavior, and what the psychological reward for her was, I don't know. I didn't get to know her well enough to, really pin that down or understand why definitively, but she certainly found a value in that, of risk-taking when tree climbing. And, my best guess is maybe it brought her a rush or a sense of living on the edge, or maybe, if we were to really read into it, maybe she got a sense of, coolness from it, that she could, do these things. But who knows, right? I never really, never really talked that deeply about it. But that is one example of a god, right? If any of those things are true of why she was doing that, then that would be a subconscious part of her psyche, as we all have, right? Like, I've fallen out of trees as well, so I understand it. I love, I've added steps to this tree, and it's very dangerous going up there. I recognize, I'm risking my life every time I go up there, but it's worth it to me still. And so at a certain point in my life, I would have to decide, I'd have to weigh the consequences of that and say, is this part of my being that wants to live on the edge and, be different and feel different and experience life differently outside of the lines? Is that part of my psyche unbalanced? Is it too powerful? Is it running the show in a way that it shouldn't be running the show, and calling the shots in ways that it really shouldn't be calling the shots anymore? So yeah, there's just different powerful parts of our psyche that we have limited or no awareness of. And so that is what Jung would have considered a god, a part of the unconscious mind. And that manifests in so many different ways. I could go on so many different rabbit trails of like what that looks like, but what I want to get back to is finding these golf balls, because recently when I was searching for golf balls, I've kind of felt like they've kind of expired, and that I shouldn't be searching for golf balls anymore. Like I explored the parts of my subconscious that needed exploring, and I got the answers and the reflection prompts that came through the words that were on the golf balls, and I got sufficient level of satisfaction and understanding internally from doing that. And yet I still kept returning, like I did today. And at one point recently, there was a set of lizard legs and just the legs of a blue-bellied lizard. And to me, I used to love catching lizards as a kid, and I'd chase them along the fence. I'd set cups on the fence and chase them into the cups, and put them in cages and treat them as pets. And it was just so fun. I look back on that time so fondly, and I still, when I have a prime opportunity, I will still try to catch lizards. And yet, yeah, when I was there looking for golf balls, there was just this detached set of hind legs and a tail from a lizard when I was looking for golf balls. And I thought, what on earth could that mean? And side note, if you are interested in looking into symbolism of things, ChatGPT can be a great companion, or any LLM can be a great companion, because it has a historical knowledge of different symbols. There's also not necessarily a need to use an LLM or even the internet to draw meaning from symbols, because the whole point of symbolism is that it shouldn't require that in order for it to be meaningful. So you can look at it both ways. But for me, I looked it up, and I thought it was really interesting that it said, ChatGPT said that that might represent you were in search of this, meaning from, these synchronistic golf balls or whatever. And yet you came across this discombobulated, kind of gruesome thing of this thing that's you were looking for answers of how to navigate a clear path forward from the golf balls, and you were confronted with this death, and legs, which represent forward progress and moving forward. And so for me, and it said this in the analysis as well, that could represent you stalling your own progress in looking for signs and looking for clarity and looking for abundance of clarity. And I really took that to heart today. This is my second video I've filmed out here, and it's something that I want to start doing more of, and it feels like practice. It feels like momentum in moving in a direction that I want to be going. And yeah, I have the clarity, and time spent at this point in my life looking for synchronicities, looking for signs, looking for symbols, can ultimately become a distraction and a pulling away and a mental obsession towards escapism from doing and applying these gifts and these unique talents and tree climbing and talking to cameras. And yeah, just things that I could be, serving the world ultimately, and stepping into my own dharma. So, yeah, the lizard leg spoke today, and I still picked up a golf ball. So, for what it's worth. So, anyways, I guess the point of all this is symbolism's fascinating. Ants on your ears are fascinating, and you can get obsessed with finding meaning in everything, and there's really a point where that becomes counterproductive and not useful. Yeah, to that end, I start a new job on Monday, and I'm really excited about that, and excited to continue to use and grow my skill sets and relationships and opportunities to serve the world. And my tree swing comes in about a week as well, so excited to change the format of these videos and see what's next. But I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I hope that yeah, this story speaks to you and offers some insights into symbols or rituals or non-divinatory practices that allow you to explore your subconscious in a way that you feel comfortable with. All right. Until next time.